Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we have just a few more sessions in the book of Lamentations before we bring this study to a close. We're in chapter 4. Remember, there are 5 chapters. Chapters 1, 2, 4, and 5 each have 22 verses, and chapter 3 has 66. Thus, we have 7 sets of 22 verses, and the book is designed around um, a scheme of acrostic. So each 22 letters represent sections of 22 letters represent a section in which each verse begins with a consecutive letter of the Hebrew alphabet, beginning with Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, and on. And we're in chapter 4 right now, and we're going to look at verse 13 through the end of the chapter, verse 22, which basically ends the acrostic section of the book, because although chapter 5 has 22 verses, it is not in acrostic, and we'll talk about that next time. Let's just read chapter 4, beginning with verse 13. Because of the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests, who have shed in her midst the blood of the righteous, they wandered blind in the streets. They were defiled with blood so that no one could touch their garments. Depart, unclean, they cried to themselves. Depart, depart, do not touch. So they wandered and fled among the nations, said, they shall not continue to dwell. The presence of the Lord has scattered them. He will not continue to regard them. They did not honor the priests. They did not favor the elders. Yet our eyes failed, for help was useless. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could save. They hunted our steps so that we could not walk in our streets. Our end drew near. Our days were finished. Our end had come. Our pursuers were swifter than the eagles of the sky. They chased us in the mountains. They waited in ambush for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the Lord's anointed, was captured in their pits. Of whom we had said, under his shadow we shall live among the nations. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, who dwells in the land of Uz. But the cup will come around to you as well. You will become drunk and make yourself naked. The punishment of your iniquity has been completed, O daughter of Zion. He will exile you no longer, but he will punish your iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will expose your sins. Well, chapter 4 ends with another indictment of the false prophets and the iniquities of the evil priests. One only has to read the end of 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, or the book of Jeremiah to get a fairly thorough history of the devolution of the religious situation, the political situation in Judah towards the end, and the false prophets who ended up, trying to silence Jeremiah and threw him into a pit. This really just continued to spiral downward, and the people were not so much duped as they were served in their own self-interests by these false prophets, these false priests, and so they do become unclean. And he pictures them now as lepers who are having to say unclean, unclean, unclean as they wander the earth. But they have been scattered by the Lord. And this has happened because they did not honor the true priests, and they did not listen to the elders, the tribal elders, the city elders, the village elders, when they pointed them in the right way. And then he describes them as they speak for themselves, speak in the first person, not they, but our. Then they describe how they looked and looked and looked for someone to save them. And over the years, the kingdom of Judah had made alliances with just about everybody except Assyria, although they paid tribute to Syria at times. But they tried to get Babylon to join with them against Assyria. When Babylon started to grow strong and threaten them, they tried to get Egypt to help them. And then when they became a vassal state of Babylon, they opposed Egypt. When Egypt came to fight with Babylon, I mean, it's just the international intrigue is ridiculous as you read it, and for no point whatsoever. It accomplished nothing. It only made things worse. And they needed no foreign alliances. If they had been faithful to God, nothing would have happened to them. But they did, and they were hunted down. Also, this section talks about Edom, and this section, these verses, these 22 verses end with the condemnation of Edom, and that's a theme in the literature of the fall of Jerusalem. Psalm 137 condemns Edom. The prophet Nahum, his book is about condemning Edom for Edom's role in the destruction of Jerusalem. Always a tense relationship between the Edomites and the Israelites, particularly after the split in Judah. The Edomites are descendants of Esau, of course, and so they are they're cousins to the Jews who are descended from Jacob, from Israel. And there's always been tension and jealousy and discord between these related peoples. And whenever Babylon came to destroy the city of Jerusalem, Psalm 137 describes them as sitting on the sidelines saying, tear it down, and cheering on Babylon and facilitating that destruction. And so here, as in Psalm 137 and also as in the book of Nahum, Edom is about to get her just deserts. And there is a hint at deliverance here because 21 and 22 talks about the end of the punishment of Judah. It has an expiration date. There is a time at which it will end, but not the punishment of Edom. They're going to go away, and they're not going to come back. And that's how chapter 4 ends. We're not coming to a happy ending in chapter 5, not at all. In fact, if anything, it gets worse because we go from order to chaos. The lament has followed the acrostic pattern, and it's been so firmly established. 20, single acrostic, triple acrostic, and then single acrostic. And so we really are expecting a chiasm, a number 7, another acrostic. It's just so discordant in the original language that we don't have it. And even though we have the 22 verses, but that is a message in itself, and that's where we're going to start next time. So thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We'll pick up with chapter 5 and next time we're together. Thank you.